Hello everybody, welcome back to another Space Marine 2 video. So in this video guys, I'm going to try and cover absolutely everything when it comes to the new customization, the new weapon skins that have come out, and obviously all the White Scar and Blood Angels items. So I'm going to jump straight into the Blood Angels chapter pack. So as you can see, we've got the Angel Sanguine. These guys look crazy. I did make a tutorial on these guys, but obviously this is official and I think it looks a lot better than how I made them. I think it looks absolutely awesome. Obviously you've got your Angel Sanguine Flesh Terrors. I think these guys are pretty cool actually. I might start rocking this. I do like this colour scheme of like the dark red with the black, which is incredible. You've got the Angel's Penitent. I also made these guys, I think. I'm not 100% sure. These guys are absolutely awesome. They've got the new colour scheme on as well. You can see burn marks and stuff like that. The Lamenters. People have been waiting for this one. I know a lot of people like the Lamenters and, well, they're very unlucky, are these guys. But I think they're pretty cool. You know, the bright yellow with a checker and the heart. I don't think these guys are actually an official legion. I think it was actually originally a fan legion, not 100% sure. But, you know, either way, they're pretty cool. You've got the Blood Scythes. I also tried to make these guys. You know, there's a few of these chapters on here that I tried to make myself before they released this update, which is crazy. You've got the Atlantean Spears. I think people were trying to make these guys beforehand with the other trident symbol that's in the game already, so you guys did a really good job with that. You know, and the developers have obviously released their Atlantean spears and they look pretty cool. You've got the Blood Dragons, which means you can finally make the Black Dragons as well, which is pretty crazy. Now there's a dragon symbol on this shoulder, so you can now officially make your Black Dragons, which is pretty cool. And then you've got your Flesh Eaters, which are pretty cool. I've never really heard of these guys before, but that was like an orc symbol almost. But yeah, pretty cool. So now I've covered these guys, I'm going to go back to my Flesh Terrors, go along to the armor section and show you guys the new helmets. So there's this new one called the molecular bonding studs. Eating my own words. So you get this from completing 15 waves on hard mode siege. So a lot of people have been a bit upset about this. How come we didn't get it on an older helmet, but like sort of thing. It doesn't bother me because I think it looks pretty cool regardless. You know, the bonding studs, you can just get all studded out quite literally, and I think that just looks kind of cool. We've got this Bionic Eye Mark 10, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that one. Obviously you get these old helmets and you've got Baal's Armor, which is pretty interesting name, but it's got the Blood Angel symbol on the forehead, and you also get your White Scars helmet. And I'll put that on ready for the next set of customization bits. So yeah, that's the, as you can see, there's a bit of a white, well not, I'm about to say white lining when it's white scars. There's a red lightning mark over the helmet, which is pretty cool. Let's back up. Obviously there's nothing really new for the shoulder pads, other than, well, the White Scars shoulder, as you can see here. And you also get the molecular bonding studs on this shoulder as well now, which is what people have been asking for, and I'm really glad that they've actually listened to the community. So let's get this White Scars one back on. Nothing really crazy on this side other than honor, courage and retribution, and the new Blood Angel shoulder. So you know, you could really just, that looked really weird, just every single piece of like crazy customization just slapped onto one character. Would be actually kind of funny. But for now I'm just going to put on many choices for the tactical when the symbols get covered up, right guys? So yeah, let's go to the chest plates. So that's pretty cool. The White Scars chest plate is pretty cool. Skull on the belt, that's actually crazy. Obviously at the beginning I was showing you guys the Blood Angels chest plate, so that's nothing really, you know, you've seen this the whole time I've been recording. But the White Scars chest plate is actually really awesome. I do like the lightning with the wings. Obviously there's nothing crazy for the new, there's no new backpack, there's no new equipment, no new arms and no new legs. So yeah, let's I'm gonna move along to the White Scars successor chapters, which look crazy. These are the destroyers, which looks really cool. You can really see the lightning mark on the helmet now, and well, it's just wow. Are they just yellow? Bad Moon yellow. So that's pretty cool. Stormlords, they were the Marauders. Stormlords, they're pretty cool. Rampagers, they sound like a Blood Angels chapter for some reason. Obviously you get your Mantis Warriors. I know a lot of people are excited for these guys. I'm going to change the shoulder back so you guys can see the symbols. There you go, look at that big Mantis symbol on there. So yeah, these guys all had their own little symbols. That's probably the coolest one, in my opinion, out of all of these. I do like these. I've never really heard of these guys, but I think they look really cool. The Rampagers, yeah, covered those. So yeah, Mantis Warriors. I remember somebody asking me a month ago or so now, asking for me to make these guys, and I then saw in the patch notes for this update coming, we're getting the Mantis Warriors, so I didn't really see the point in making a customization tutorial for something we're getting. So even though I made all these different Flesh Terrors and Blood Angels, I didn't know which successor chapters. I made those customization tutorials way before we knew what was coming. Storm Reapers, they're pretty cool. Solar Hawks, now that's pretty cool. Notice these guys, there's a fair few yellow chapters, even though the White Scars are, well, mainly white armor, which is pretty crazy. And you also have the Dark Hunters, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to go back to my Blood Angel. Where is my setup? There it is. Isn't that just glorious? Hold on, wrong setup. There we go, fixed. Just like that. That's how I set up my Blood Angel. I think it was pretty awesome. But the next big thing is the Assault, when it takes its time to load. So the new champion skin for the Assault, when it lets me zoom in, there we go. Isn't that just crazy? That helmet as well, that's pretty cool. All these different, like, they're like tokens almost. It's pretty cool. It's the first time we've just seen a normal emblem on a shoulder, I think. Never really, other than like a salamander symbol, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this is pretty cool. The big like fencing gauntlet or glove, whatever you want to call it. All these different like tails or hair ties, not 100% sure what they are. It just red hair. Skull, obviously a bit of a lightning mark and all these different other lightning marks, and it's got a slightly different like lineage on this helmet than you do to the normal White Scars helmet you get, but it seems to be that they've used the same shoulder piece, so in a way you could probably copy this guy and make one without the big hair tie thing on the top of the helmet. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to move across to the weapons now, and I'll see you guys there. So I figured the best class to look at most of the weapons would be the tactical. So I'm just going to start off with my auto bolt rifle, for example. So as you can see in the section, you see all your lovely weapons that you've unlocked whilst playing the game. You also get your DLC, Dark Angels, if you have the DLC. But there is now a strange third section on this, and it's called weapons, which is kind of cool. I was hoping for some sort of customization like you do with your Space Marine armor, but obviously they've not worked out a way how to do that. So, you know, you can finally run around with a red bolt rifle, like the like a Ultramarine veteran sergeant almost. In fact, I think because I was playing Siege mode the other day, I unlocked a Mephisto red bolt rifle, which is actually crazy. I think it looks really cool, and well, it's literally just this reskinned, I think. Yeah, it's just that reskinned without the purity seals. So, you know, I think it's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of if there's been any other extra stuff. I know the White Scars got a new weapon, so let's just go across to here. The DLC, here it is, the lovely White Scars knife. Look at the design on that knife, it's just crazy. I don't know if it's obvious, but I am running my game on pretty low settings, so things probably do look a bit blurry, but this is just awesome. You know, the amount of detail they've put into these weapons, and obviously they've figured out a way to try and give us some colourable weapons, which in the end could result in us having loads of different colours. And the colourable weapons is completely free as well. You don't have to pay for any of it, which is pretty cool because it's an addition to the Horde mode. You know, like I've got this white chain sword, you know, my Crag blue sword, and you know, my fist on red. But you know, I think this is pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's go to the assault, see what kind of stuff he's got. I'm not 100% sure if there's a power sword or something. Power fist maybe. No new power fist. No new chain sword. Like even, you know, you can change the colour of the swords, which is crazy. Change the colour of the hammers. That's actually pretty cool. The chain swords. But you know, I think this is probably a big step towards customization. And another thing is the Bulwark finally gets a Thunder Hammer, which is incredible. I've been honestly wanting this for a good while actually. When I run the Bulwark in the Astartes mod, I always slap a Thunder Hammer on that big boy, and he just destroys. Slam the banner down and just start swinging. It's a lot of fun, and you know, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that is about it. You know, there's obviously there's stuff like these emblems as additions to the well, to the update. Obviously this emblem is part of the the Blood Angels pack, and this is just a brand new emblem they've added into the game. I'll just zoom in for you guys. So yeah, they finally added the Ultramarine Sergeant symbol to the game, and this is just a stripe in the well, the Blood Angels chapter pack, which made me think, I should try and make a captain of the Ultramarines. And well, I took some liberties and looked at Captain Akaran, see what he had going, and he has a stripe on his shoulder. So you know, I just figured I'd mess around with it and have a bit of fun with vanilla customization, which I haven't had in a while. So yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. If you did like this video, please leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. Let me know in the comments what you think of all this new customization that's basically come to Space Marine 2. And if you want to keep up to date on everything Space Marine 2, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.